Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Troy here at Hunhoff Heritage Farm. It's Saturday. It's a crisp spring day. It's going to get up to 49, 50 today. So, as I mentioned in my last video, I got the planter pulled out here, got her folded down, and I got to address a couple seed tubes here. So, as you can see where they fold up, they've kinked there, and then this had been patched before with tape, but it's kinked inside there as well. But as you can see, there is a splice here. This stretch, they just put a bigger diameter tube over the original seed tube, and then there's a splice here, and then actually this one's got two splices. It looks like they all use this material, which it's an IH part, and it has airflow going that way. So I'm not sure, because this one they got taped up and this one they got taped up. So I'm not sure why this one got left, because none of the other lines have that. But as I mentioned, I got a chunk of old solid black seed tube, so I think I'm just going to try to cut out those kinks and cut a chunk off of that, maybe make it a little bit longer to give it a little more flexibility. Yeah, even though I feel like there's enough, but apparently not. I mean, they're not tight by any means. They do have give and all of that, but maybe cut a little bit bigger splice, just to give it a little more room for when it gets folded up. Maybe it won't kink from here. So gonna be working on that, and then depending on how that goes, I mentioned I gotta get the monitor, which is this guy here. Pretty basic monitor. That's all there is to it. Off and on, and the screen on here, from what I remember, it just flashes the seed rows, and then if there's a row having problems, then it beeps at you with the row number, if I'm remembering that correctly. And then the other quote-unquote monitor, it's not really a monitor, but it's for the marker arms control box. So that's got to get back installed, and then I'm not sure if I'll put this camera back on there, but that's the camera, and then the monitor for that is right there. And the reason we had that on there is so instead of having to sit with your looking over your shoulder all the time, my old man had it mounted on the back of the fender there, pointing down at the seed drums, so you could see that the drums were turning right about the same speed. Because with this planter, and I think I've seen a post or two in a cycle planter group I'm in, that it seems like with these planters, sometimes one hopper will unfill more quickly than the other hopper, and we've had that issue, not too extreme, but when you get done or go to refill, there is one side that has less seed than the other side. But again, it's not drastic or too crazy, and we get out and we check, and the spacing and everything seems right. So I'm not quite sure what could be causing that. Just like a lot of other things that we do on our farm here, it's old school yet, so we don't really use a seed tender at all or anything. Reason for that is that way we can control exactly how many bags are in each hopper. I know my dad had made a comment years ago that he just couldn't eyeball it good enough, or didn't feel like he could eyeball it good enough, that he was getting both sides equal with a seed tender. And so at least for this year, I'm just going to go ahead and use bags again, and it's not that bad. I mean, it holds quite a few bags, and for the size fields that I have, we don't really have to refill all that often either. So maybe twice for one of the larger fields. So I'm just going to use bags again, and that way I can put, if it calls for 20 bags, I can do 10 and 10 or whatever, and then I should be good for that field. So And like I said, get out every often, check the seed placement, and then just check the hoppers too, and make sure, and usually have an extra bag up here on the rock bucket. So if one side is getting a little lower than the other, then I can just throw a bag in to make sure I get across the whole field without leaving any empty spots. So we're gonna dig into that and see how far we get. Thanks. Hope you guys have a great day, and remember that Jesus loves you, and we'll see you soon. Thanks. Bye.